Okay, my name is Nate Dale. This is for the Tech 1010 class. Today I just want to talk a little bit about the Space Shuttle Challenger disaster that happened. And there's just like the three questions that I want to go over. But for those who don't know, the Space Challenger disaster was a mechanical failure in a rocket that was supposed to launch a couple astronauts, a couple mechanical workers, and a teacher up into space just for a space mission. And about 77 seconds after liftoff, the whole thing fell apart and exploded due to certain mechanical errors. One of those mechanical errors was the O-rings in the ship, which could not handle certain temperatures. It being around, I think 30 degrees is what it said. It could have been 18, but I think it said 30 degrees outside when they launched the ship, and there was ice. But they said that it should be at least be 40 degrees or warmer. I think 54 was the ideal degree. So what could NASA have done differently in that situation? First of all, just been patient and actually listened to their engineers and changed it to certain statistical data that they knew would work instead of going into the unknown. That was a very, very big mistake on their part. It was horrible. Looking at their previous data, they could have probably seen that certain things don't work in certain weather conditions, which is what most of the engineers, especially Roger, what's his name? Boisjoli, I think is what his name was. But one of the main engineers, and it mentioned them many times, kind of leads into the second question: what should Roger have done differently? Like it says, keep in mind that there's not really many other jobs for rocket engineers, but I feel that he did almost all that he could in this situation. When working at NASA, you can't just simply shut down an operation because you don't really have the authority to when you're just an engineer or a scientist. Yeah, you can go to your higher ups, but even then, a lot of them are telling him to just kind of shut up. And so at that point, there's not really much else you can do besides compromise the operation and take things in your own hands, which would have been a very scary thing for him to do, which would have also resulted in automatic termination. I just think he would have lost his job. I think he would have intervened and denied it, and they might even have just sent him to jail. I don't know, I'm saying. Because NASA, the government, does whatever they want, but a lot of it kind of shed some light on like what I see as my future for engineering professional, or even just a professional in general, in this situation, is being loyal to management is very hard to do at times, especially when you're working for such a big company. I think there's a big difference between management and like professional scientist or engineer. There's lots of frustration because they're probably a lot smarter than management, as Roger was. He was a lot smarter, because he knew to not go through with it, but they did anyways. And so I personally would put public welfare over loyalty to management, unless working on something top secret that I would never be able to like divulge about. But I mean, I doubt that would ever happen. Even then, I still have morals set in place for myself, and if I can protect others from harm, I will. I can see how hard of a decision it was for Roger to hold back, but afterwards he did suffer the consequences from the horror that occurred, but he later on went on to learn from them, just as we all can. And then we can also be confident in our abilities in the future. So overall, I think that's what NASA could have done differently. I think they really just need to be patient because, everyone wants to get out there. I know it's a big race, but you can't just keep endangering the lives of others. And I'm sure that there is a better way to do it. So, yeah.